Alright, in this video we are going to talk about steps. What is the importance of steps? Obviously, steps are the core of mathematics, right? So first of all, we need to start with that understanding and be able to communicate it to students. Students will always ask you, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to show my steps? I already explained how I would do it. Why can't I just leave it at that? No, absolutely not. Under no circumstances would do not accept it. No. The answer is no. And here's why. Again, right, you'll hear me say this a million times. Our goal is not the final answer. I don't care about the number 35. I do not care about the number 35. It doesn't mean anything, right? You don't care about the number 35. Nobody cares about the number 35. It means nothing. What does mean something is the number 35 in a very particular context with a very particular series of steps that correspond to the very particular question that we're working on, which means that what matters is the context, what matters is the steps, what matters is showing that you have the skills that are going to get you there. Now, in order to communicate this to students, I also have to take that a little step further, and I say, look, you're a student, I'm a teacher. My job is to make sure that you 100% understand this skill. I cannot do my job unless you show me beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can do it. You show me for 100% certain I can do this, and here's how, and here's what I did, and here's all my steps. You have to show me that, otherwise I can't do my job. It's not that I'm trying to be a pain. It's not that I'm trying to, make this math a drudgery. Just do it real quick and just show it to me, right? And I just need to see it. I just have to see it. Most of the time, students are pretty amenable to that, right? It's not going to be that big of a fight. If they start being really lazy with their steps, it might become more of a fight, but that laziness with steps comes from what we do as instructors in the first place. So, a couple of rules for you guys. If your student comes in, we'll just leave it black, but I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so we can see. If your student comes in and they say, okay, yeah, here's a Pythagorean theorem question. Here's my drawing. Okay. And this one's a 4 and this one's a 3. Okay. And so I'm going to solve it. No, absolutely not. No. Under no circumstances acceptable. When we were in person, we used to put like big obnoxious X's over the entire page. We'd be like, no, get a new piece of paper. Entirely new piece of paper, because this is not acceptable. This is so tiny, even an ant can't see it, right? We have this one joke like, what is this, a diagram for ants, okay? So, be obnoxious, be silly, be goofy. I don't care how you get it across. It doesn't make any difference, but be stern. Okay, this is not an acceptable diagram under any circumstances ever, no matter what. I don't care how smart you think that student is. It doesn't make any difference. Only with like maybe a very, very rare expressed exception from a lead instructor are you allowed to accept a diagram this small. And also, by the way, lead instructors never accept a diagram this small, so that exception is never going to exist. All right, cool. So we've got like big diagram. Here's my diagram. This is my right triangle. Yes, this is acceptable. This is what we like. Okay. Next thing, delete, clear page. If the student comes in and they've got like all this stuff, like written all over their page, and they've got like all these steps over here, and then they're like, yeah, okay, here's my like couple of steps for this problem down here. It's like this over here. Can you see it? No, absolutely not. Big, huge X through all of that. No. Under no circumstances do we accept a whole bunch of nonsense written like on the diagonal over here, like in the bottom corner of this worksheet with all this other mess on it. No. What are we thinking about? The steps are the most important part of mathematics. The steps are all of the thing. That's all of it, okay? If these steps right here are not treated like basically the most important piece of artwork that you've ever dedicated your effort to, it's wrong. I don't care. Doesn't make any difference. It's wrong. Under no circumstances will we accept this. No. Okay, so you say immediately no. Usually what I say to students, to give you guys phrasing, I'll say something like, obviously not, exclamation point. Like, you have to make this one question your primary focus. It has to be the only thing you're thinking about. And I can tell based on this worksheet, based on this, page of your steps, that you are thinking about at least all of these other things over here. No, under no circumstances are we going to accept this. Absolutely not. I am very goofy with my students, but I am so stern that after my students work with me for like 3 or 4 sessions, they know beyond a shadow of a doubt, okay, that I am not going to accept this under any circumstances. This is a thing that they know about me. They know this, and they know that I will not allow them to use calculators no matter what. Why? Because calculators are worse than drugs. Don't do it. Do not. So they know these 2 things about me, and they will send me steps, and they'll say, yeah, you're not going to like these steps. And I'll say, yep, I don't like them. Redo them. They're like, okay. But they get to that point, right, where they know what I expect. They know that I have higher expectations of them than they have of themselves, and I'm going to make them meet those expectations because I know that they can. I believe in them. I just fundamentally, like, this is what you're going to be. You're going to achieve this thing. And it's a big deal. Huge deal for me. All of my students know this for sure. I never accept this. Oh my goodness. All right, cool. One other thing. All right, so let's say they have this entirely blank page. They have dedicated an entire page to their steps for this question, but here's what the steps look like. Switch to pen. Boop, doop, doop, doop. Okay, that's what the steps look like. They're literally so microscopic that you can't even see what it says. No, 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 definitely not. Under no circumstances do we accept this. No, no, no. Okay, I don't care how obnoxious you have to get. Like I said, it doesn't make any difference to me. Get obnoxious. Do not accept these steps. No. Why? Because you can't read them. You can't read them. And I mean, in this case, I'll just laugh at my students. I'll just be like, ha ha ha. Like, obviously, I'm not going to accept this. Ha ha ha. Okay. It doesn't make any difference what you say, but just don't accept it, right? You can be kind, you can be polite, you can be encouraging, you can make fun of them. It doesn't matter to me. But you gotta say no to this. This is not okay. One of the biggest issues with the SAT is that students get in there and they try to do stuff in their heads, and then they try to do stuff like with very, very poorly written steps. If the steps are bad, the students are so much more likely to get it wrong. So, in addition to being stern yourself, in addition to having students who know for a fact that you are not going to accept anything like this, in addition to that, you can also say, hey, this is going to benefit you, okay? I promise you, I know, and you can lie, but you can depend on my knowledge, okay? I know for a fact that every student who has done steps like this has just not gotten the score that they want. It just won't get you there. You've got to put more effort and more love and more care into your steps. Like, this is the most important thing. You have to write down all your steps. Every single one of them, you've got to do it. You know, it's a thing that I tend to be a bit more passionate about, and so that kind of helps. And my students are like, oh, I guess I should really care about this. Like, fine. You know, and it's kind of a thing. Some students do it begrudgingly, but I don't care. I make them do it every single time, because when they get to that test, they're not going to have me there to be stern. And if I haven't been stern for several months in advance, they are not going to do it, right? Even before they go and take the test, I yell at them and I say, you better not get in there and do all your work without any steps. I'm going to be so upset. I'm going to yell at you. I'm going to call your dad and have him yell at you. I'm going to call your mom. I'm going to have her yell at you. And I give this whole huge speech, right? This is a big deal. That's how big of a deal this thing is. Let's see. Is there another one? Okay. The last one is this. Sometimes students will say to you, well, here's what I would do. I would do this, and then I would do this, and then I would do this, and then I would do that. No, obviously, no. Okay. Just show me. Just show it to me. That's my common thing. I'll say, show me, exclamation point, whatever. Usually students don't, disagree with that. The thing that they have trouble with sometimes is if they have shown me like 2 of the 5 steps, but they skipped a bunch, right? And I'm like, no, don't. No. Okay. Show me all the steps. You have to show me all the steps. All the steps are necessary. You have to show all of them to me. Give me them. Give me all of them. There are 5 steps. They have to be 5. I don't care how many times you have to say it. I don't care how many ways you have to say it. You can make up a new language to be able to say it. It doesn't make any difference to me, but you gotta say it. You gotta say it 12 times so that your students know without a doubt that you will never accept anything that doesn't have full and complete and accurate and nicely written steps that are on their own page. It's not in the margins. They're not too tiny. It's very, very clear to read. Their steps for every single problem that they do with you must be a work of art. If they're typed out, then it's going to be fine anyways. But if they're writing steps down, or if they're not writing steps down, like this is what you have to be thinking about. You have to make them write steps down, and if they write the steps down, it's got to be perfect. So I'm gonna stop yelling now, but that's the whole thing. Make sure you do it. Super important. See you in class.